All right. Many thanks for joining me on the show today. This is the Arsenal Fans Zones, and I'm glad that you've joined me on the show. I've got joining me today Bumi Blair. Bumi Blair is actually the Sports Writers Association chairman here in Nigeria, Abuja chapter. I don't know if it's actually safe to say he's an Arsenal fan, but I know he will just do justice to some of the topics that some of the things that we'll be talking about this evening. Obviously, we've got Aro Ulubumi Aro as well. We call him Oshopi in this part. Um, I mean, by the jersey he's wearing, you can agree with me that he is a Chelsea fan. Guys, thanks a lot for joining me today on the show.
Thank you very much, Timothy. It's a pleasure.
Well, thanks a lot. Let's just go straight to the point. It was another draw for Arsenal only recently against Southampton. Does this actually spell an end to Arsenal's chances of winning the league? Play.
I don't think so. If you've been familiar with the Premier League, you will know that the Premier League has a lot of obstacles. I mean, the thing is, I know, or should I say, we know there are going to be stops and there are going to be starts, along the way. But where it will happen is what you don't know. I mean, borrowing from Sir Alex Ferguson some years back, when Arsenal were top of the table and everyone thought, look, it was a ride home for the Gunners. He said some things that I will never forget. He said, look, this is the EPL. There will always be drop points. And he said it, I won't forget, that Arsenal will still drop points. That even his team will still drop points. That no one should think that the title was over. And being someone who is in love with the Premier League, I try to learn along the way, and these kind of things I don't forget. Especially for people who are hugely experienced when it comes to the job. There are some things that you can't get except you experience it. And when these kind of people talk, you kind of listen and try put it in one of your hands and use it to work. So it's never over. I was telling my listeners some few days ago that look, there will still be ups and downs. It's the Premier League. There will never be any straight road to the title. It will be like it will be curves here and there. And I wasn't surprised that Arsenal drew with Southampton, because even a draw, it was a draw that seems like a win for the Gunners. City look like they are so good right now, but I can assure you they're not going to win all their matches. And if they can't win all their matches and they are going to draw points in about, is it 8 or 9 that they have now, it means Arsenal still got a chance.
Well, I'm not so sure if I totally agree with you on that. And of course, I'm going to pose this next question to Aro. This is a city side that we're talking about. And we know for sure that at this time of the season, where you expect that teams like Arsenal, are dropping in terms of form, because of the quality they have in their squad, you realize that they seem to be getting it all right at this stage of the season. I don't know what you make about that, though.
Yes, so Timothy, I would also like to respond to the first question that does Arsenal still have a chance of winning the league? I think the match on Wednesday will determine a lot, because Arsenal will be playing Manchester City. And Manchester City still have 2 outstanding games. Arsenal have played 32 matches. Man City have 30 matches, 75 points, 70 points, 5 gap. So if Man City clear their 2 outstanding matches, they will be ahead of Arsenal by 1 point. But the race will be determined on Wednesday. If Man City win that game, then Arsenal should forget the league, because if they win that game, it will be 73 points against 75 points with 2 outstanding matches. So they've been able to reduce the gap to 2 points with 2 outstanding matches. So with the form that Man City have currently, I don't see anybody stopping Man City currently. And Arsenal, in their last 3 matches, they've been playing draw. It's either they start winning from 2-0 and they play 2-2. Or like yesterday, they were losing 3-1 and they play 3-3. No doubt that Arsenal are playing very well, but I think they have problem with concluding their games. Let's say 10 matches to the end of the season. The same thing happened to them last season. They were supposed to make top 4, but the last games of the season, they could not make it. And this thing is still happening again this season. So I think Arsenal need to address the issue of ending the season well next season, because if such thing happen again, if they don't address ending a season well, it will happen again to them next season.
All right, Blair, I don't know. I mean, from experience, I don't know what you make of this. What do you think may have actually been responsible for Arsenal's latest form? I mean, it's been a while that we actually had this kind of trail going on. 3 consecutive draws. I mean, you can actually make excuses for them against Liverpool, but with their last 2 games, particularly the game against Southampton, first minutes, in less than 30 seconds, you concede that kind of goal, knowing fully well that you have a whole lot ahead of you. The game against West Ham United, you were 2 goals up, and then you just bottled it at a time where you think, as a matter of fact, you should have added more goals. I don't know what you think, based on experience, though.
Well, first of all, let me let you know that no one wants to win. Everyone wants to win a game, and there are a lot of characters that you string together to make you win a game, and that's what is missing in the Arsenal's in Arsenal recent games. And you can just put that all together to say experience. I mean, that's just the summary of it. Now let's break it down. Looking at the goal they considered against Southampton, the first goal, and you ask yourself, how many title-winning or title-deciding games has the goalkeeper, what's his name now, been in? If he had been in title-deciding matches, as much as maybe 10, 5, 6, or even 3, they will know that.
Throwing all the whole blames on him. I mean, for games like that,
it's not a blame.
You cannot be making that kind of decision, that kind of pass, at stages.
Come on, Timothy, stop speaking like a fan. Look at it from the player's perspective. Look at it from a team's perspective. I mean, the fans who want to cry blue mother, kill him, he's done this, but it's not about blame. It's about, football is a whole lot of experience. And like I said before, just imagine a David Seaman in that particular scenario. Do you think Seaman would have attempted that pass? He wouldn't have attempted that kind of pass, because he knows if anything goes wrong, the whole season could crash. He would probably have sent it out against whatever philosophy the team was, playing. That comes with experience. But, being a young goalkeeper and, having not been in that situation before, where one mistake could crash the whole of the season for you, you want to say, oh, I want to play to the coach's instruction. We build from the back, take risk, and all the likes of it. But when you are so experienced, you will know that even the coach will praise you after the game if you are able to win the game against his own philosophy. You understand?
What about the mentality of the players? The mentality of the players at this point in time. Is this something that you think may have also affected them?
That's what I'm telling you. The mentality you are looking for comes with experience. Let's go back to the West Ham game. They were leading and cruising 2-0. What will the Ghanaian boy do? Partey. He wanted to, do this fancy kind of, style, hitting the ball against Declan Rice. If you were experienced enough, if he has gone through title-deciding games, he knows that the position he was in, he can't afford to lose the ball. But because it's Arsenal, we are playing well, we are on top of the table, I can assure you he will never try that again. If he got another chance in another game, it's a learning curve for them. But again, the thing is this, that's why you need a few more experienced players, around some of those young players who are yet to really taste action. And that was why I think, bringing in Jorginho in the January transfer window must have helped the team also, both on and off the pitch. But the thing is this, you need to win, whether there's experience or not. Even the coach is inexperienced at this particular point. Because I take a look at some of the decisions he made, and I was like, okay, for me, Bumi, being a coach, there's some things I would have done differently, but I'm not in his dressing room. I'm not the one training the players. But I look at, why is Smith Rowe not playing? Why is, what's his name, Vieira playing ahead of Smith Rowe? I mean, these are some of the few decisions that could, change everything. In the game against West Ham, he brought in Kivior. And I was like, if you want to play Kivior, don't put him at the back. Play him like a defensive midfielder.
For Smith Rowe, you can make excuses for him. I mean, this is a player that's actually been out for quite a while now. And with that long layoff,
the question I will ask you is this.
Yes.
If the boy from Real Madrid, what's his name now? If he was out for that long, Odegaard, if he was out for that long and he came back from injury, will Arteta be starting him? Will he be giving him the chance? The question is yes. The answer is yes. He will give Odegaard a chance, but he's not giving Smith Rowe the chance. And the thing is this, on the night where they needed creativity, when they needed someone to open and unlock opponents' defense because they were down, they had every point of creativity, every burden of creativity was left on Odegaard. But here we are, you have someone on the bench who could also unlock the defense of the opponent. And like I said, right from the starting lineup, I knew Arsenal would be in trouble. If you're playing Vieira in place of what's the name, Granit Xhaka, and you have what's his name, Smith Rowe on the bench, you're wasting your time. Vieira doesn't win balls, and he only keeps possession. He gets chances in the opponent's box, he doesn't utilize them. Smith Rowe doesn't really win balls as much, but he does better than Vieira. He gets in opponent's box, he scores a lot of goals. So who should you be starting? Who should get a chance to play? You understand? And even before this last title run or thereabout, he wasn't giving what's his name, Reiss Nelson a chance. If you've been following Arsenal for a very long time, you see what that guy has got is different. I mean, not every player, not every team can, have the chance to have a player with such amount of speed. Yes, we know speed demands control, but you need to put it to work. You understand? And I think some of the few decisions that Arteta has been getting wrong. And then against West Ham, I want to go back there. He brought in Kivior, and he took Kivior straight into the heart of the defense. From my little experience as a coach, when you're making a change, especially in the heart of the defense, and you bringing in a new player, you pushing one to the other side or something, it's the best for you to play that defender right in front of them. There won't be, this element of, if he made error, it's straight to the goalkeeper. You play him like a defensive midfielder. Playing him as a defensive midfielder means you're adding extra defense. He will not be playing forward because he's a defender. He will want to defend. So it's an extra defender right in front of your central backs. And these are elementary things that I think, the coach should have known. But again, he's not that experienced. You understand? So it's all about experience for Arsenal.
Okay, so I think I totally agree with you on that. Shopping, with games against Chelsea, I mean, you've got big games against Chelsea, and then you have Newcastle also. It's still obviously going to be a very tall order for Arsenal to, at this point in time, make any. It just has to be a miracle. I mean, looking at the games Manchester City also have, you want to think that Arsenal have a bigger problems ahead of them. I don't know what you think about that.
Timothy, I will not let let us underrate other teams. Because for you to mention only Newcastle and Chelsea as the toughest match for Arsenal in the remaining 6 games would be suicidal, because we also thought the Arsenal would defeat Southampton yesterday, being that Southampton were also battling for relegation. So no team is small in this EPL. So it's a team in the relegation team, not Nottingham Forest can even play a shocking draw with Arsenal. So the games, what Arsenal just need for now is to check up their mental being in the game. Because if you look at yesterday, I was surprised. Few minutes to go, and this guy and Party had a clear chance and just wasted it. The match was 3-3. He had a clear chance and just with champion oriented, so that they'll be able to win their remaining 6 matches. They can win their remaining 6 matches.
Are you still there? I think I'm actually losing
Can you hear me?
the connection from your end.
I'm here. I can hear you.
I think he has. I think he has network issues.
I can hear you guys though.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can hear you guys though. Did you
Yeah,
hear
go
me?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that Arsenal need to be champion oriented. They should have the mentality of a champion, and they should not be thinking about their losses or their draw. Make sure they win their remaining 6 matches. That match on Wednesday is very important for them. Win against Manchester City is very important for them to win the league. If they can't win that match, they should forget about the league.
I don't know if you share the same opinion, Blair. The game against Manchester City is obviously Arsenal's next game. Is there a possibility that Arsenal will just pull up a surprise at the Etihad?
Well, if Arsenal can pull a surprise at the Etihad, yes, Arsenal can do it. But as a coach, you need to look at a whole lot of things.
Squad these guys actually have right now. The squad of the goal-scoring machine in Haaland as well.
I understand when you speak like an Arsenal fan, you don't see any good in your team. Rather, you're talking about the opponents and what they've got and all the likes of it. That's the beauty of football. If Southampton could play out the bottom team on the table could play out a draw and we're leading at some point by 3-1 against Arsenal, don't you ever write off the chances of the Gunners, beating City. I go back to the first leg, and I will tell you, if not for some of the personal errors, individual errors from some of the players, and probably what I would still call inexperience from the coach, starting what's his name in the right back position ahead of the English boy, who I tend not to remember the names now. I think Arsenal would have had that game better. Ben White, if he had started Ben White ahead of the other, is it Korean now or Jeroboam? I think Arsenal would have had a better game. It was an error from the coach, and you could see in the error that were made in the game. And I'm sure he must have learned from that. And also, if you watch that game, Arsenal played better than City. I mean, for the very first time, Now, let me break it down a little bit. City are a team known for being happy to keep the ball. You can also go back to the game they played against Bayern recently. They want to keep the ball. But Arsenal made them play differently from the way they love to play. Now, Arsenal press them high. When I press them high, it's just normal. The way, you press high, where the space is will be behind the opponent. City were made to play long balls to Haaland. Haaland and was the other defender that appeared, Gabriel, what's his name, the English boy. had several duels with Haaland. And, Haaland was doing a lot of good, was, winning those balls. But City were unable to progress with them until Arsenal gave away those 2 goals. If you think City are going to have it easy against Arsenal, you're joking. Even Pep will never say that. Yes, City have a chance now in that the game is in their hands, but Arsenal can and will, and Arsenal will make it a hell for City. And if there is a coach that can do that, it has to be Mikel Arteta. What he doesn't have is the experience, making some changes and all the likes of it. But I think it's going to be a hell of a game for City. Can City lose? Yes, I think they can lose. But if they don't lose that game, then I think it's almost over for Arsenal.
I mean, but you must also consider the fact that there's been the absence of William Saliba, which I think, I mean, the last 2 or 3 matches he's been missing in the squad, and I strongly believe that his absence in the squad has actually cost Arsenal some of the goals that we have considered in the last couple of matches. And from reports, it does look like he will not be available against Manchester City. You don't think that can also affect the team at the end of the day? Because there's been a strong partnership between himself and Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yes, Timothy. What you don't have, you can't get. You do whatever needs to be done with what is at hand. Yes, Arteta would like to have what's his name, Saliba back to play, because Saliba seems to do better with Gabriel, and invariably I think he's a better player than what's his name now, the other guy that appears, the English boy, what's his name, that appeared against Southampton. I think he's a better player than him. But the thing is this: what you don't have, you can't use. It's not, in a pre-match interview yesterday or thereabout, he said, look, Saliba will not be, is not progressing as they want. Why think about Saliba? You need to prepare your team with what you have. And if you keep thinking about, what I have is not good enough, then you're not going to win. The thing is, what do you do with what you have? Now, everybody would like to have a Kylian Mbappe in their team. Everyone would like to have probably a Lionel Messi in their team. Everyone would like to have probably a Patrick Vieira in their team. But you don't have the luxury. You don't have them. So because you don't have Messi, you don't have Mbappe, you won't win matches. You need to plan with the players you have. It's left for him to decide how he wants to play these players and look at how to ensure that the players, when the game starts, they are in a position to have an advantage over the opponent with the opponents they come across. In that, for example, if he knows Haaland is going to give Gabriel a lot of issue, he needs to ensure the way they play that Haaland comes across Gabriel the least times in the game. Match preparations and all this. If we get Napoli for AC Milan defenders, they had a plan for him, and the plan worked. 2 players on him at every opportunity. Napoli likes going long and everything. So he needs a plan for the game. And I know if it's about setting up plans, Arteta can do that, and the rest will be left for the player. So it's a big game coming up. Don't worry about whether Saliba will be there or not. Focus on those who are ready to play the game. And, if you want to help Arsenal know how they can use these players and get results. And I can assure you, with these players they still have, Arsenal played without either Saliba or something the last time out, if you remember. And, if not for those errors, City could have, it could have been different. So deal with what's at hand with what you have, and stop, dreaming about players that are not available.
Okay, all right. Just in wrapping up, I mean, Aro, The odds are actually against Arsenal, whether you like it or not. I mean, with City having 2 games more to play, the odds are against Arsenal. Now, just in the event, not to sound pessimistic at this point in time, just in the event that Manchester City wins the league, do you think it would have been a disaster for Arsenal? Knowing fully well that not do we still have Arrow?
I don't think it's there.
Yeah, I think Shopee has a bit of a network challenge there.
Yeah.
All right, I think he's back. Yeah, so I was saying, do you think it would be a disaster if Arsenal eventually doesn't win the league? I want to remain positive, but just in the event that the league doesn't go our way, what would you make of the entire season for Arsenal?
Yeah, I would still rate Arsenal a good game. If they finish second, based on what they did last season and the kind of purchase players that they bought this season. You know, Manchester City have quality players. First 11, second 11 on the bench. So I will still give it to Arsenal. And if they can adjust, buy more quality players next season, they can actually win the league next season. But if they eventually do not win the league this season, it's still a good game for Arsenal. They've qualified for Champions League, so they have opportunity to play in the Champions League after many years. Coming second is still a good team for Arsenal. But winning the league will have been the icing on the cake and a very good outing for Arsenal. But still, coming second is still a good team based on the fact that Manchester City is a very good team at the moment and they have a very good coach. So I won't really put it on Arsenal for not winning the league. They've really tried topping the league from week 5 till date. So I think Arsenal are on the right path. But they should still not give up. The remaining 6 matches, if they can win the remaining 6 matches and hoping that Man City loses 1 or 2, then they can still win the league. But if, like you said, if they did not win the league, they've had a good outing this season, to me.
All right, Blair, just in wrapping up, it's a young squad. If they don't win the league, what do you think will be the next season for them? You think they should add up quality into the squad, or what do you just make up of the team as it stands now?
Well, I think Arsenal have punched above their weight already. I mean, challenging for the title is way above expectations for them this season. But if they don't win, it will be a disastrous season in the sense that you don't know if you'll be able to be in this position again next season. If they won, then that will give them the opportunity to be able to strengthen the squad. But I really don't love the way Arsenal have been making, their purchases recently. If you want to win, you go for quality. And I don't think Arsenal have gone for, quality enough. Rather, they've given the coach just a little bit of, this and that, and he's been able to do magic with them. So I think it's best if they won the league, then they'll be able to attract a whole lot of good players, even on their own terms. But if they don't win, everyone will still term them as, players want to come to where they think they are going to win. For example, they can lure in a Victor Osimhen if they won the league. If they didn't win the league, Osimhen will not want to come to a team that is nearly team. You understand? These are some of the things. The players consider this, but if they won, that will give them a lot of confidence, and they will a lot of very good players would like to come.
Victor Osimhen,
for example, they brought in Kim.
He should be like the most valuable player around now, and Arsenal may definitely not want to put up the kind of amount of money that is being valued for Victor.
Arsenal, we have to spend. That's what I'm telling you. First, will the player want to come? If he say 150 million euros, Arsenal have got it to spend if they want. The thing is, would the player want to come to a team that is nearly always wanting to win and they don't win? So that's not an issue. The thing is, maybe if they wanted to buy 6 players, they reduce it to 3 or 4, and you have one good quality in that. So the thing is, they need to win to attract a lot of very good players. That's it. And but don't worry. The Premier League is so interesting that I want to advise Arsenal fans: don't kill yourself. You never thought you would be where you are right now. So just enjoy it. If eventually Arsenal wins, fine. If they don't win, don't worry. It's one of those things. But have it at the back of your mind that City are also still going to draw points. It might be some of the most places that the least place you expect.
I think I lost you for a few seconds. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Timothy. I can hear you.
I think it's a perfect place to just anchor the show today. Somehow I think Aro has been disconnected. I must say thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. All the best to Arsenal. We all want Arsenal to win the league.
All right, thank you. And like we say, if you are visiting this channel for the first time, do not forget to turn on the notification button after you hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks a lot, and see you some other time.